more than 700 victims could be murdered at once. 36. By the middle of 1942, the operation was moved to Auschwitz II-Birkenau, a nearby satellite camp that had been under construction since October 1941. 26. The first gas chamber at Auschwitz II-Birkenau was the Red House, called Bunker 1 by SS staff, a brick cottage converted to a gassing facility by tearing out the inside and bricking up the windows. It was operational by March 1942. A second brick cottage, called the White House or Bunker 2, was converted some weeks later. 37. 26. According to hosts, Bunker 1 held 800 victims and Bunker 2 held 1,200 victims. 38. These structures were in use for mass murder until early 1943. 39. At that point, the Nazis decided to greatly increase the gassing capacity of Birkenau. Crematorium 2 was originally designed as a mortuary with morgues in the basement and ground-level incinerators. They converted it into a killing factory by installing gas-tight doors, vents for the Zyklon B to be dropped into the chamber, and ventilation equipment to remove the gas afterwards. 40. D. Crematorium 3 was built using the same design. Crematoria 4 and V, designed from the beginning as gassing centers, were also constructed that spring. By June 1943, all 4 crematoria were operational. Most of the victims were murdered using these 4 structures. 41. The Nazis began shipping large numbers of Jews from all over Europe to Auschwitz in the middle of 1942. Those who were not selected for work crews were immediately gassed. 42. Those selected to die generally comprised about 3/4 of the total and included almost all children, women with small children, all elderly, and all those who appeared on brief and superficial inspection by an SS doctor not to be completely fit. 43. The victims were told that they were to undergo delousing and a shower. They were stripped of their belongings and herded into the gas chamber. 38. A special SS bureau known as the Hygienic Institute delivered the Zyklon B to the crematorium ambulance. 38. The actual delivery of the gas to the victims was always handled by the SS, on the order of supervising SS doctor. 44. After the doors were shut, SS men dropped Zyklon B pellets through vents in through 4 holes in the side of the chamber. The victims were dead within 20 minutes. 44. Johann Kremer, an SS doctor who oversaw gassings, testified that the shouting and screaming of the victims could be heard through the opening and it was clear that they fought for their lives. 45. Sonderkommandos, special work crews forced to work at the gas chambers, wearing gas masks, then dragged the bodies from the chamber. The victims' glasses, artificial limbs, jewelry, and hair were removed and any dental work was extracted so the gold could be melted down. 46. If the gas chamber was crowded, which they typically were, the corpses were found half squatting, their skin discolored pink with red and green spots, with some foaming at the mouth or bleeding from their ears. 44. Others were covered in excrement, vomit, menstrual fluid and suffered nosebleeds. 25. The corpses were burned in the nearby incinerators, and the ashes were buried, thrown in the river, or used as fertilizer. 46. With the Soviet Red Army approaching through Poland, the last mass gassing at Auschwitz took place on the 30th of October 1944. 47. In November 1944, Reichsführer SS Heinrich Himmler, head of the SS, ordered gassing operations to cease throughout the Reich. 48. Legacy. Interior of Magdeburg gas chamber showing Prussian blue residue after World War II ended in 1945. Bruno Tesch and Karl Weinbacher of Tesch and Stabenau were tried in a British military court and executed for knowingly providing Zyklon B to the SS for use on humans. 49. Gerhard Peters, who served as principal operating officer of Dgesche and Heli and also held posts in the Nazi government, served 2 years and 8 months in prison as an accessory before being released due to amendments to the Penal Code. 50. Use of hydrogen cyanide as a pesticide or cleaner has been banned or restricted in some countries. 51. Most hydrogen cyanide is used in industrial processes, made by companies in Germany, Japan, the Netherlands and the US. 52. 53. Dgesche resumed production of Zyklon B after the war. The product was sold as cyanozole in Germany and Zyklon in other countries. It was still produced as of 2008. 54. Degussa sold Dgesche to Detia Freiburg GmbH in 1986. The company is now called Detia Dgesche. 55. Up until around 2015, a fumigation product similar to Zyklon B was in production by Luebenzávody Draslovka of Czech Republic, under the trade name Uragan D2. Uragan means hurricane or cyclone in Czech. 56. Subsequent use of the word Zyklon in trade names has prompted angry reactions in English-speaking countries. The name Zyklon on portable roller coasters made since 1965 by Pufari provoked protests among Jewish groups in the US in 1993, 57, and 1999. 58. In 2002. British sportswear and football equipment supplier Umbro issued an apology and stopped using the name Zyklon, which had appeared since 1999 on the box for one of its trainers, after receiving complaints from the Simon Wiesenthal Center and the Beth Shalom Holocaust Center. 59. Also in 2002, Siemens withdrew its application for an American trademark of the word Zyklon, which their subsidiary BSH Bosch und Siemens Hausgerät had proposed to use for a new line of home appliances in the United States. The firm was already using the name in Germany for one of their vacuum cleaners. Protests were lodged by the Simon Wiesenthal Center after the trademark application was reported to BBC News Online by one of their readers. 60. French company IPC's product names used Cyclone for degreasers and suffix B for biodegradable. Cyclone B was renamed Cyclone Cap Vert, Green Cap, in 2013 after protests from Jewish groups. 61. 62. Arabi said the name was horrible ignorance at best, and a Guinness record in evil and cynicism if the company did know the history of the name of its product. 63. Holocaust deniers claim that Zyklon B gas was not used in the gas chambers, relying for evidence on the discredited research of Fred Alter, who found low levels of Prussian blue in samples of the gas chamber walls and ceilings. Alter attributed its presence to general delousing of the buildings. Alter's negative control, a sample of gasket material taken from a different camp building, had no cyanide residue. 64. In 1999, James Roth, the chemist who had analyzed Alter's samples, stated that the test was flawed because the material that was sent for testing included large chunks, and the chemical would only be within 10 microns of the surface. The surface that had been exposed to the chemical was not identified, and the large size of the specimens meant that any chemical present was diluted by an undeterminable amount. 65. In 1994, the Institute for Forensic Research in Krakow re-examined Alter's claim, stating that formation of Prussian blue by exposure of bricks to cyanide is not a highly probable reaction. 66. Using microdiffusion techniques, they tested 22 samples from the gas chambers and delousing chambers as positive controls, and living quarters as negative controls. They found cyanide residue in both the delousing chambers and the gas chambers but none in the living quarters. 67. See also carbon monoxide poisoning, cyanide poisoning, Kurtgestein, Memorial to the Murdered Jews of Europe construction, methyl cyanophormate. References. Explanatory notes. A total of around